influx from Libya. The UN Commissioner for Refugees, Antonio Guterres, says as many as 120,000 people have crossed the border into Tunisia. I'm glad to say that we can be joined now by the UN Commissioner from Zarzis, near Tunisia's border with Libya. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. So give us an idea of the scale of the problem there.
Well, indeed, 120,000 people cross the border, and this would not be possible for us to cope with if we would not have the extraordinary generosity of the Tunisian people and the Tunisian government. In a world where so many borders are closed, where so many doors are being closed, Tunisia opened the borders, the people opened the doors of their homes, and indeed, with the generosity of the people and the commitment of the government, it has been possible for us, for IOM, for the international community, to not only assist the people in the border area, in a transit camp in the border area, but to mount an enormous humanitarian evacuation operation that has already was quite successful in bringing the Egyptians back home. And now the next challenge is to bring back home 13,000 Bangladeshis. Today we had already 6 flights from Jerba with IOM, and I hope that with the support of the international community, it will be possible to reduce the number of people in this transit camp, which is of course essential for us because we never know what's going to happen in the next few days. The situation in Libya is very dangerous, and we are afraid that at any moment we might have again another massive outflow.
Now, on that point, I mean, in the last few days there's been a suggestion that some people are still trapped inside Libya. How concerned are you that there are still foreign workers who are trying to leave but are not able to?
We are very concerned. We don't know exactly what's happening, and we don't have accurate information about the situation on the other side of the border. The only thing that is clear is that when the border was not effectively controlled in the Libyan side by the Libyan authorities, we had at a certain moment 15,000 people crossing every day. After the Libyan authorities assumed full control of the border area, the numbers came down dramatically. Yesterday, less than 2,000, probably today, the same. What's happening to them? Why are they not coming? It's something we do not know, but indeed we are very concerned that many of them might be trapped or not allowed to move because the roads are fully controlled by the authorities.
Now, I don't know if I can ask you this. I'm not sure if you're briefed at the moment on the situation, but I just wanted to ask you briefly about Côte d'Ivoire and the events there. We've seen more violence in the last few days. How worried are you about the kind of potential for large-scale refugee movements from Côte d'Ivoire?
We have already 70,000 people in Liberia, and again Liberia has been extremely generous hosting them, but this, as you can imagine, represents a huge burden for a country that is in itself in a process of transition and peace building. And the indications we have from Côte d'Ivoire are that more and more people are displaced. In the last few days, 300,000 people displaced inside the country, and that the level of suffering that these populations are enduring is absolutely appalling. Unfortunately, because obviously the Libyan crisis has occupied the center of the attentions of the international community, there has been not enough effort and not enough commitment to support the Ivorian people in this very tragic situation. And I also appeal this crisis not to be forgotten and international solidarity to be expressed to the Ivorian people in this absolutely terrible moment.
Okay, Antonio Guterres, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, studying for a better life. On International Women's Day, we look at the challenges Kenya's Maasai face.
A story of a land that never stops from giving its children hidden treasures. We foster innovation and create bonds between people, between nations. Nurturing the land under a ceiling of durable love. Fulfilling every generation's needs and thrive to cherish them. We help building skills and are proudly part of building our nation. From the mysteries of the desert to the wide open seas, with never-ending stories to be told, creating bonds of life and preserving it. Capco, in just about everything.
If you're a Nokia user, you can download AlJazeera's news widget from Nokia's Ovi store. The news widget, available on compatible Nokia devices, gives users quick and easy access to real-time news updates from Al Jazeera English. See the world in real time. Al Jazeera Mobile.
Welcome back. A reminder of the top stories this news hour. The head of Libya's Opposition National Council says the Libyan leader must stop the bombing and leave the country within 72 hours. In return, the opposition has guaranteed that it will not be prosecuted under the Libyan laws. Gaddafi's forces have bombarded the towns of Bin Jawad, Ras Lanuf and Azawiyah as rebel forces begin to close in. Warplanes dropped bombs on key positions, but opposition fighters battled on with rocket launchers and AK-47s. Well, army leadership played a decisive role in ensuring a smooth transition of power in Egypt and Tunisia. However, in Libya, despite some desertions, the army is still firmly under Gaddafi's control. But will the loyalty continue amid reports that Gaddafi might be trying to strike a deal with the rebels? Mohamed Shakir finds out.
The military in both Egypt and Tunisia are institutionalized with long traditions. Despite being led by former military officers, both countries kept their armies at a distance from politics and away from the internal security. Both regimes relied on a separate internal security apparatus, born, bred and trained to quell opposition, while the armies stood by, keeping their hands clean. Armies in both countries have direct and strong links with the outside world through military aid, training and joint exercises. This is not the case with the Libyan army.
I haven't ordered the bullets yet. When I order the use of force, then we will be up to it, and it will burn everything.
In his speech on February 22nd, Gaddafi seemed confident of the loyalty of his forces. But was he referring to the army or to the internal security forces? In Libya, there are no distinct lines separating the responsibilities of the elite army units from the security brigades. They both have, as their main objective, the protection of the regime. Army elite brigades are closely connected with Gaddafi's sons. Some even carry their names. Those who serve in these units receive better pay and more benefits. They are also chosen directly from the Gaddafi tribe in northern Libya, and those directly linked to the ruler's clan, as well as those known for publicly showing loyalty to Muammar Gaddafi. For decades, their privileged status has made them the envy of the rest of the army, who have deliberately been kept weak and demoralized. In the early days of the Libyan uprising, signs of the army's fragmentation were obvious, with military pilots fleeing to Malta with their Mirage fighter jets. But the strongest elements of Libya's army have a vested interest in defending the regime, and the majority do not follow the Egyptian or Tunisian models of military neutrality. So sure of their support,